The Kingdom of Desmond was a historic kingdom located on the southwestern coast of Ireland. The name is Irish in origin, Deas-Mhumhain, which means South Munster. The Kingdom of Desmond originated in 1118, based on the Treaty of Glanmire, when the major parts of the prior Kingdom of Munster fractured into the Kingdom of Desmond and the Kingdom of Thomond. McCarthy Mor, Kings of Desmond. From its inception in 1118 through 1596, the Kingdom of Desmond was ruled by the family of the McCarthy Mor. For centuries the McCarthy Mors reigned as Kings of Desmond, and maintained significant domain lands throughout the kingdom. Principal seats were at Palace Castle, Castle Loch, and Carbury Castle. After the death of King Donald IX McCarthy Mor in 1596, and following the effective end of the Gaelic order after the Battle of Kinsale, the former Kingdom of Desmond was partitioned between County Cork and County Kerry. Subsequent to the end of the McCarthy Mor sovereignty in Desmond, descendants entitled to the highest Gaelic designation of chief of the name of the McCarthy Mor family are also properly styled as Princes of Desmond. A secondary title of the McCarthy Mor would derive from the lordship designation of his sept. Principalities and other septs, generational offshoots of the royal house of Desmond, received their own territories and titles, known as appanages of the royal house. Those McCarthy Mor cadet branches which did not evolve to the McCarthy Mor chief of the name status, became chiefs of the name of their own princely septs, i.e., McCarthy Ray of Carbury, McCarthy of Muskerry, and MacDonagh McCarthy of Duhallow. Because of their location, it was the McCarthys of Muskerry and Carbury who ended up fighting the majority of the battles against the Normans, mainly the Fitzgerald Earls of Desmond, while defending and expanding the Gaelic realms. By the mid-16th century, the main line of the McCarthy's Mor had largely withdrawn to Kerry, so any modern claims that they are still entitled to the nominal overlordship of Carbury and Muskerry might be rejected by any extant descendants of these branches. Carbury, one of three principalities within the original Kingdom of Desmond, Carbury, under the McCarthy Ray dynasty founded by Donald Gott McCarthy in the mid-13th century, achieved independence from the overlordship of the McCarthy Mors of Desmond. Thus, the McCarthy territories were actually over a fourth again greater outside of Desmond proper, due to the independent and considerable Principality of Carbury, directly to the southeast of Desmond. Principal seats of the Lords Princes of Carbury were at Kilbrittain Castle, as well as Timoleon Castle. Possession of the latter was frequently in dispute with the Norman family of Barry, who were also prominent in West Cork. Some of the more notable sub-lordships under the McCarthy Ray dynasty of Carbury included castles at Ballytop, Benduff, Downeen, Kilcoe, and Kilgobbin, to name but a few. Muskerry. The McCarthys of Muskerry, on the other hand, derived more recently from the McCarthy's Mor, and so were considered a sept of the main dynasty. This principality of the Kingdom of Desmond began in the 14th century as an appanage of King Cormac Mor McCarthy Mor for his second son, Dermot. At various times, because of their adeptness at playing the political game with England, the Lords Princes of Muskerry also bore various British titles, such as Earl of Clancarty, Viscount Mountcashel, and Baron of Blarney. From its rebuilding in the late 15th century by Cormac Lady McCarthy, Blarney Castle, near to Cork City, was the principal seat of the McCarthys of Muskerry. It was from alleged dialogue between Cormac Taig McCarthy, the Lord of Blarney, and Queen Elizabeth I of England, that the term Blarney was coined to mean empty flattery or beguiling talk. It is also from Blarney Castle that the legend of kissing the Blarney Stone derives. Among the numerous sub-enfeudations, sub-lordships within the overlordship of the Princes of Muskerry, some of the major ones were Ballia, Carring na Muck, Carrignavar, Castle Cormac, Cloro, Clofilip, and Downeen. Duhallow-III of the princely lines that began as appanages of the McCarthy Mor dynasty was that of the McCarthys of Duhallow, known as the MacDonagh McCarthys. The Duhallow sept began in the 13th century as an appanage from the then King of Desmond, Cormac Finn McCarthy Mor, to his son Diarmid. It was the Gaelic lordship of Duhallow that occupied the northern frontier of the McCarthys of Desmond in their sometime struggles with the Norman family of the Fitzgeralds, the Earls of Desmond. The principal seat of the Lords of Duhallow was at Kanturk. The family of the MacDonagh McCarthy lords, princes of Duhallow, became extinct in the 18th century. As in the other princely appanages of Carbury and Muskerry, Duhallow held overlordship of a number of septs of both comital rank, Clanorley, Clonmene, and Dromar, as well as baronial rank, e.g., Capper, Dromascane, Kanturk, Kilbillane, Knocktemple, and Lowhort, among others. Other septs. Coshmaring. The sept of Sliacht Owen of Coshmaring was established in the 14th century by King Cormac Mor McCarthy Mor for his third son, Owen, as an appanage of the royal house of Desmond. According to Butler, of the McCarthy septs in the barony of Maghunaghey, by far the most was the Sliacht Owen Mhoir of Coismange. The lands of this sept stretched along the whole northern frontier of Maghunaghey from a point near Castlemaine to the border of Cork. The head of Sliacht Owen of Coshmaring was styled as Lord of Coshmaring. The principal seat of the Coshmaring lordship was at Molarif, with other castles at Fireys and Clonmee Allen. Non-McCarthy septs both inside and outside the territories of the Kingdom of Desmond in southwestern Ireland. There were many families other than the various septs of the McCarthys. Most prominent of the Norman families in the area were the Fitzgeralds, Fitzmaurices, Barrys, Barretts, and Roaches. The chief non-McCarthy Gaelic princes under the McCarthy Mor in Desmond were the O'Sullivans. After them were the O'Donohues, and these two were the only septs who took part in the performance of the McCarthy inauguration ceremonies, i.e., the bestowal of the White Wand. Also prominent were the O'Callahans, O'Keefes, McAuliffes, O'Sheas, O'Farris, O'Feargish, and others. Within Carbury, aside from the McCarthy rears, the most prominent Gaelic families were the princely sept of the O'Donovans, the O'Mahoneys, O'Driscolls, O'Dallas, and O'Crelleys. Within Muskerry, prominent non-McCarthy Gaelic families included the McSweeneys, O'Learys, O'Healys, and O'Riordans.